Okay, so where we at with what today will be about? Um, Man, I was really hoping you were home because or answered when I called Thomas. Not anyone else. I don't care if you called. Fuck y'all. But no, Thomas. Because I had questions about somebody that you know. I think you know. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I just was wondering some shit. Um, what was I rambling about before I finally got the laziness off me to get up and get the damn recorder going? Classic, my fucking brain melts at times when needed. It used to be like that, but it gets that way one day. It just starts getting worse and worse. It's a very disappointing thing about getting older. Um, Something about well-being and people being brainwashed and not believing that they're brainwashed because they're being brainwashed. Like, I posted a thing about that, a picture of a fucking dude standing up, a big ass sign, and it said, if you do not believe that you are being lied to and brainwashed, it's because you were being lied to and brainwashed. So, but the thing is, people do understand that on levels, you know. It's all on levels of things. But people do they do get that like degradation or whatever. Most motherfuckers just ignore it. Some motherfuckers let it engulf them, and other motherfuckers leave it the fuck alone. And that's just basic human strategy of survival. So, can't really blame them, I suppose. It would be nice to. The thing is, and this is what gives me some kind of inspiration. Not only like my kids and the other kids in their class that are growing up right now and becoming the men and women to shape shit. They're being alert to so much foul behavior to where as long as we get enough of them encouraged to vote and be active, do demonstrations, protests, whatever need be, like, there's a hope. But the thing is, the way the system is, the way it works, there is no hope. And that's the way they would like to keep it. Because if you don't have any hope of earning more money at your job, then you'll be more likely to buy a credit card that says you can spend $300 a month. Just pay us at least $25 a month, and your interest charge, and we'll be good. I fucking got cotton mouth like a motherfucker. That probably won't even stick. I need to fucking drink the water. Un momento. Much better. I'm fascinated by this chair I found. Dumpster dive. The guy was leaving his apartment, and I was helping him in the elevator getting all this shit down to outside. He was throwing shit away. We got this cool ass bar stool, like red and chrome bar stool. And this chair from him. And a lamp. So that was cool. Anyway, what were we talking about? Other than my fucking memory issues. But I don't remember. What else can I ramble on about? Take up some time, make this worth watching. People suffocate each other just to get a little higher up in the food chain. And there's never going to be a hope of a civilization that comes from this kind of degraded behaviors that we're so in tune and used to by now. I mean, like, if you showed fucking some of the political shit going on right now in 1930, like, motherfuckers would be tripping on it. They'd be like, what the fuck is going on with that? The president did what? They're like, yeah, we still got his back. The majority of people have his back. That's going to be a fun thing to see. So quote me on this, if you please. But Donald Trump is going to be a president again. He's going to pardon himself from the criminal charges that he has against himself, that the state and their country is like holding him accountable for. He's gonna get presidency again, and then he's gonna pardon himself from everything. And when that happens, something between the trifecta of the United Nations, China, and Russia will collaborate and take over American soil, put boots on the ground in our homes, and run our military fucking ragged while doing it. We're not expecting any attack on this country. Like, they're too arrogant to their ways of, oh, well, we pay this fucking country for that, and blah, 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 this. How they had Ben Laden as a homeboy for so long in the United fucking States. They're a baby country. They make mistakes, but I say they because I don't consider myself an American. I've lived for 45 years, so almost a half a century, and every year of my life, the United States government has been out to harm me, detain me, or infect me in some way. Take money from my paychecks for shit, throw me in jail for dumb comments on voicemails, pull me over if I'm doing 3 miles an hour because I'm fucking 3 miles an hour over because I'm fucking late for work. Like, just all of those dickheads. Like, especially like speeding tickets and shit, man. You're like, you know, you were doing 10 over the limit. You got your ID, you show them your license and your registration, all that checks out. You ain't got no warrants or nothing. And they're still like, well, you were going 10 over. And you're like, yeah, I'm late to fucking work. They should, to serve and protect the public, go, oh my God, my bad, I didn't know. I understand. Get to work, bro. Like, that's not words of discouragement. But everywhere that you work, in this country, at the least in this country, pretty much all over the place. Um, the master-slave ladder of people is defined well, and one of the things you're supposed to become obedient to at first level, just the entry. You're like, this is your boss fucking for this shit, this is the boss to this other shit, this is the boss to those bosses, this is the head up guy, that's the corporate guy, and that's the owner. And all the motherfuckers be just scurrying around the factories, making sure that all their shit's getting made and sold and produced and harvested and whatnot. But then you get to know like the actual people behind shit, and some of them are really horrible people. Like really horrible people. Taller, this is sweetest. Really horrible people. But there are others that are like so fucking kind-hearted. Like so fucking kind-hearted. And that's where it becomes a thing of like, who's willing to do what work for whom. Like now, if, like myself right now, I'm willing to take a job where I have to travel 2 hours by trains and buses to get to work, and 2 hours by trains and buses to get home from work, to work at like a fast food fucking restaurant or washing dishes in a restaurant somewhere downtown, where you can still like become a part of things and get your foot in the door, you know. That's all I need. I just need someone to see that I'm willing to withstand the pain of the job, and that I got the ability to handle it. And then I'll be in, and then I can start talking about menu choices and ingredients and different ways of prepping food, all that wisdom. Because I've been fucking 20-something years of restaurant and kitchen work, in and out of factory jobs, like the fiberglass factory that tore me up every fucking day. That was a traumatic job, man. Fuck. It was good ass money though. They were paying me 18, like, and I was like in 2018. Yeah, 2018, and I got hired on there for that, which was decent back then, but it fucked. Like, I was fucking, like, the acetone that cleans the chemicals off all your shit, because you're covered in plastic. You cover your shoes in plastic and tape and all kind of everything. Like, and it still gets through all that shit and gets to you. And, man, this hot fucking showers, like unbelievably hot water, just was the only thing that quenched it. And you could feel the pain of the water, the heat, but it didn't matter because it took all that itch away, and like all the scummy fiberglass materials and chemicals they had. We had like 5 or 6 different mixes of chemicals we made every day when we came in, and put them in, fucking mix these harsh ass fucking toxic ass chemicals and throw them inside a bin, and then start the machine up and keep putting rods on there and wrapping them in the fiberglass and the rope. Put them in the oven, cook them bitches, throw them on carts. I hated that fucking job so much, but I was really happy that the people had gave me an opportunity. And so like when I did end up having to quit that job, mostly it was I had a psychotic breakdown and went to Sycamore Springs, one of the most amazing mental wards I've ever experienced in my life. But so that ended my job there. But as far as that place, they were right on the edge of the Purdue campus. So they had all the doctorate residents and nurses and shit, like between the campus and this facility. And that was the only reason I got accepted, that they had 24-hour medical staff. I couldn't find a place to lock myself up when I lost my mind and my shit. And I was like fucking drinking like real bad again and fucking just stressed out. And I'm like, I need to lock myself up. And I went to my Oakland therapy people, like that ran the drug class that probation makes you go to and all that stuff. And I talked to the girl in charge of that thing, and she's like, what's going on? I said, I'm losing my fucking mind. Like, why do you think that is? And I'm like, because nothing works the fuck out ever for me. The best I ever do is break even. So to me, breaking even is a win. Like if I go in a casino with $20 and I put in some slots or on a table or whatever, I'm expecting that I'm going to lose. So if I win back my 20 by the end of everything, I'm broke even, I'm ahead of the game. That's how fucked up my life and expectations are. Shit, I done, see, once again, I done forgot what the fuck I was saying. Let's talk about love. And how well are you doing with communicating with people? Because you're around a very unique area where there's a lot of word of mouth. So all you have to do is fuck one job up for someone, or overcharge them, or piss them off, or whatever mistakes end up getting made in life. And they'll start talking negative about you. Like, just depending on the choices you make are randomly going to help or hurt your business. But I hope that, for Thomas, I hope your business is going good and doing well. You should focus on that while you still have some of that savings. Fucking secure your business. Like if you're you're talking about getting life insurance and you're like fucking a baby still with no fucking health problems and that, that's a waste of fucking money. All it does is make you save up money that you can take away from the policy, leaving the policy void and null, and spend the money that you invested in the policy because you find things while you're still alive that need your attention financially before your death does. And you're like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to die this fucking year. I'm taking $5,000 out of the fucking life insurance policy. That's what Grandma B used to do after she ran away from her preacher husband and 3 children and became a whore to a gas station owner with Cadillacs and money. And she just deemed that important in her life, to be there financially for her kids because they fucking destroyed growing them up. All 3 of my grandma and grandpa B's fucking kids, my dad, both my uncles, fucked up lives. But they endured, you know. And they got through it. And basically, my uncles both supported my grandpa. And so they made sure he always had a home to live in, like a good room, like plenty of food, all his medications, all that stuff. And then my dad went with my grandma and her new Harold boyfriend guy with the fancy Cadillacs and the gas station. And he did too before she came along. He was doing, my man had a 76 Caddy and an 83 Caddy. Like with his name printed on the inside, like full leather, everything decked out, fucking options. He had his gas station with a full fucking service, like auto garage. But he started doing shit like, okay, like this kid's fucking up, needs a job, he's a fuck up, and a fucking druggie and shit. Like before he murdered that girl and then went to prison for 15 years. He used to fuck up working at that gas station for Harold and getting negative with customers and driving them away and all kind of things like that. So I'm kind of on the fence on how I feel about people like that. Like, I mean, I know like Steve, bless his soul, he was a kind-hearted kid. He was the baby, so mama's attention went to paying his fucking, going to Butler University, getting a pharmaceutical job, fucking getting a down payment on a house, like all that shit to get him started. And he never disappreciated any of it. And he gave from himself. I've watched that dude give drugs, money, food, clothes, a place to fucking live for a month or two. Like, all kind of shit. But now look, where it's got him a fucking heart attack mowing the lawn. I'd almost rather just, one of these times I'm gonna keep going into comas with my blood sugars. And one of these times I'm gonna go into a coma and I'm not gonna wake up a couple of days later. I'm not gonna wake up. And they're gonna be like, his brain suffered so much lack of oxygen from blood flow. He's pretty much brain dead. And then just cut my eyes, cut my heart, cut my liver, cut my kidneys, shit, cut my bone marrow. I don't give a fuck. Take every fucking piece and just burn the rest. I have a few places I'd like my ashes scattered, but I have nobody to put into a will, and I don't have $200 and some odd dollars to do a will. So when I die, I'm just gonna get fucking consumed by the county, and they're gonna fucking cremate me and put a headstone in whatever city lot of dead people. Just kind of disappointing. It's gonna be a sorrowful way to end for somebody so mighty. But Steve's gone. Tom's still here. Jeremy's still here. And it's going in order. Next is going to be Tom. My brother's going to lose his life to an overdose. He's going to smoke or shoot too much poison, and then he's going to die. And then, and we won't even find out about it for fucking so long. That's the horrible thing. It's not like he's got like an emergency contact on his file or some shit. He can't even fucking answer his telephone when people are calling. So, then he's gonna die of that, the OD. And then Jeremy's going to die of the complications of diabetes. Is what they're gonna list it as. When Jeremy goes, there's no point for me to stay comfortable living around human beings anymore. that should be enough to fade my memory away. So then I can die. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's expensive to get ink removed, so you have to really know for sure. Like, I had to check Steve's fucking date. I'm like, I know it was the 13th, but I need to make sure. See, I'm posting shit like, okay, yeah, it was on the 13th is when he officially died. And so I could tat him on my arm. Sometimes I hate being right about shit. Like, it eats away at living a life. It just, it crumbles living a life. Often, quote Vinny Paz, I'm watching life as a spectator. And it's often how it feels anymore. I don't have any significant other or like dating sequence of random people or any of those social capabilities are lost on me. Yeah, I mean, I volunteer for shit and do things like that. I do food pantry when they need someone like stacking boxes of food and stuff to like pass out. Go help them for a couple hours or for a day or whatever. I do it somewhat to network, but I'm so awkward and odd that the communication doesn't get there. Like, that's why I like being around my friends. And I think it's hilarious that like most all my friends are homosexual. I think like 3 out of 10 aren't. It's hilarious. But they're all so good people. Like, but yeah, whatever I'm just talking about, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm gonna stop this video because I ain't making no fucking sense, man. I'm stoned. I'm fucking still lost and depressed and shit, but at the same time still on being happy and whatnot. Got to go to brunch for all of our birthdays. We had like 9 of us and 7 were September birthdays. So we went to brunch together to celebrate all our birthdays and all. I've been doing no artwork. I started a woodburning to follow for Lorena. I barely put anything into it so far. Painting, haven't even touched. Writing, hardly, and then destroying most of it afterwards anyway, so pointlessly. It's just really frustrating when you're sitting and waiting on God. And you're like, okay, dude, I got you. I understand struggle. I understand famished. I understand all these things. I can fast for you. I can pray for you. I can believe in you. You're the essence of everyone connected together. So it's hard not to believe in the energy that you see amongst you daily when you go out inside. And people are human souls and their energy passing through matter, passing through waves of time and space. It's not that difficult to interpret and make sense of it all. It's one of the reasons in the future generation doing anything good. Because it's like so much bad already occurs that's standard. And this is worldwide, not just America or Europe or fucking South America. So much of the standard is already sold out and just taken as is. You just know. It's what I got into a slight argument because I was talking to my friend and he's pro-Democrat, everything. He worked for SSI helping people with claims for 25 years. But when I said I think that public housing assistance is one of the worst things that's ever happened to American economy. And he didn't really know what the fuck he's like, how could you say that? It helped so many poor people get rent in places, and single moms get Section 8 so that they didn't have to pay their rent. The government took care of the check. It's like, yes, but the government did that so that the infrastructure rate goes higher and higher and higher, and the interest on everything goes higher and higher and higher. And you can suddenly, if you're renting a place to Section 8 people, now you can charge $1,600 a month for your 2-bedroom instead of $800 a month. And that just makes sense that that's why they did that. They put so much money in to rake so much money back in the long run, because all of them have real estate on their portfolios. All of them own fucking complexes and complexes that own themselves or owned by rich ass people. I've met some of them when I was in Cali. Like Robert Scott Chalmers was one of them. And the rent went up so high that because of my paycheck when I was renting from Robert Scott Chalmers, I couldn't afford my rent anymore due to my pay. I worked for Robert Scott Chalmers in his maintenance company, taking care of and painting and fixing electrical shit and doing all these things in his complexes. I worked for him. I was a good employee. And I almost got kicked out of my house until I started shit with my boss. Like, hey, I'm gonna fuck this job, fuck it. Motherfucker's not gonna let me live in my fucking house anymore, but I can still work for him for fucking mediocre pay that doesn't qualify even his own places, because he accepted Section 8 at several of his units. So that allowed him the ability to raise the rent through the roof in Chico, California. And he had all these Section 8 complexes all throughout the city. They're still there. Autumn Creek is still there. The fucking shit out by the mall with all the Section 8 housing is still there. And it will always be a maximized profit for renting those places, because the government is paying the bill. And the government doesn't pay attention to shit. They're caring about the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is more money than that guy's making. Maybe he's a millionaire. Maybe he's making $1 million or $2 million every year. I promise you, the United States government is profiting more than that $2 million heavily every year in profit from unused grants, misleading bills, just all the filthy shit that comes with being a politician and being a part of that fucking anarchic game. It's just so much deeper than that, and motherfuckers don't understand that. They don't want to care. They don't want to love. They don't want to accept each other. half of them got every right, man. They're like beating, torn up kids, going through orphanages and child protective services, and left with child molesters and fucking beaters and fucking rapists and fucking whoever the fuck got given the check to from the government. And so naturally they try and stack their house. The more kids, the more checks, the more money, you know. They don't become about these children need a place or all these poor infants or none of that shit, man. None of that fake ass movie shit happens. Motherfuckers that are taking kids in from CPS and shit in the orphanages are generally Christian, abusive molesters. Like, hands down throughout the 80s and 90s. So many child molesters were Christian, white, average, everyday people working this. I got fucked by my teachers when I was in elementary school. So there was a couple of chomos that were fucking on leash for however long before they got caught up. And they did get caught up. I didn't have anything to do with it because I kept my mouth shut about it because I was shameful about that. And it really tore me up inside to have to go through that behavior. And then it happened again when my dad took me to Dean Mockel's house. And he lived with his grandma, which is weird. And he was kind of a weird guy, just a big old fat, goofy looking maintenance guy for a Little League club, you know, and he had a pool party at his house, and I had went inside to piss because I didn't want to piss in the pool, and I went down the basement to the bathroom where he told me the bathroom was, and then he followed me down to make sure I found it and all that shit. And then stuck his dick in my mouth when I came out of the bathroom. Just grabbed me by the back of the head and stuck his dick in my mouth. And my dad, I could see his feet. He was so close from outside of the basement window, those little fuck windows like that. And I could see my father while this dude's fucking plummeting his fucking load in my mouth like his dick. And fucking was such a horrible experience. And for a long time I held on to a lot of anger and distrust and paranoia and just all the things that come with trauma. Because that's not pain. Pain's like if you fall off your skateboard and snap your arm in half and it's hanging. And then that's pain because they're going to set your arm, put it in a cast, and it's going to be just fine in a little while. So it will go away. The pain goes away. Trauma doesn't fucking go away. And that's why shit like the addiction tool of behavior is abused and misunderstood by so many and called an addiction is a disease. When it's not a disease, it's a healthy human tool for your mind for temporary fixes on temporary situations. You go out after a friend dies and everybody gets together at the bar and gets shit-faced drunk. It doesn't mean you get to get shit-faced drunk for every day for the rest of your life because your friend died. If you do that, you're abusing the tool of addiction. Addiction is a temporary relief, something quick and fast that will numb the pain of things and escape whatever and all those things that people try so desperately to do with all of their might. And the thing is, you don't want to escape those things. All of that kind of shit has made you the person that you are. And myself included. I wouldn't fucking change damn near anything. I would change lame shit. Like when I had all the money in the world when I was 18, I would have bought a bunch of gold and buried it in Bivouac Park. Wait 10, 15 years now. Gold was, when I had money, gold was $360 an ounce. A troy ounce. Gold now is, last time I looked, it was 1,200 and something. 4 times as much. So if I would have bought $50,000 in gold, buried it in the park or in the mountains, and then when I came out there to visit California 2022, I could have dug that back up and had, fuck, whatever the amount, that's like 4 times 80 grand, 160,000 plus 160,000, 300 something thousand, a lot of fucking money, a lot more than the fucking 50 I would have put into it. It's just 4 times 50, you know, that's like 200,000, 50,000 bucks for, yeah, 200,000, so it would have been $400,000 instead of $50,000. Living the way I did after I pissed it all away, getting by on fucking under the table work mostly, and shitty jobs here and there, factories and whatnot. Yeah, I kicked myself in the fucking face for not just taking off when I hit that check, because I had even forgot that I was going to be getting an insurance settlement when I turned 18. I was just happy that I was in an apartment, like a cool ass apartment, and like people were around, and like I had friends and shit, and I celebrated my birthday, and then I get the fucking call from the lawyer lady talking about sending the first check out. I was supposed to get two $50,000 checks. I got $50,000 check. And one of the first things I did to be kind to my community, there was a little fucking check cashing place. Not far down the street from my house, right by the Chevron gas station. And the guy that was there was always super cool to me and my brother and my friend Ed. We all got Western Unions through this dude back when Western Union used to be a thing. They just give you the check and you sign it, cash it, and get the money. So I knew I could go to any bank in town and cash this check and make an account, and it'd be basically no charge. They're just happy to have $50,000 check in your account. And I'm well aware of how to have done that back then. But I decided that one of the first things I was gonna do, this cool ass motherfucking check cashing dude that's right down the street from my house, that's always giving me fucking $50, $60 on Western Union. And I'm gonna take that $50,000 check and I'm gonna be like, cash this for me, bro. He's like, do you know what that will be? I'm like, I have no idea. He said it's gonna cost $5,000 if I cash this check for you. That's what my fee will be. And at the time, this dude was actually living in the store, in the little bulletproof room where they sit and work. He was just crashing out on the floor and living at that place because everything was in on this business, and it just wasn't rising yet. And so that was a really good gift, I thought. I gave him $5,000 to go to Butte Community Bank, which is exactly where I would have went, and to put the deposit of the $50,000 in minus the 5,000. And I could have very much done that all on my own and saved $5,000. But $5,000 to me at that moment didn't mean what it meant to that man. It didn't mean anything significant to me. I was a born loser, which is what I should have done, is just taken that check, put it in a bank, got a checking account and a card, and fucking just traveled the world like bounced. Because I was 18, I didn't have any felony warrants yet. As an adult, had a fucked up childhood record, but as an adult I had nothing yet. And I could have very easily traveled the whole country and still came back with 30 grand. Something always got in the way of what I wanted for myself. It often still does. I take what I need for myself, or what's important to me, or what matters, and I squash it to avoid others, whatever response, or whatever word you want to stick in there. But yes, for my nephew, I do love you, and I am very proud of you, obviously. But I think things like the life insurance policy is a lame choice. Paul thought so too. He's like, what, is he ill? Has he got a disease? Or I'm like, no. What the fuck is he life insurance for? You're young. That's 20 years away is when you start worrying about that shit. And you can pile it for 15, 20 years and either spend it or it gets cashed out when you die. But I definitely would be investing instead into my business. Into whatever you gotta pay towards taxes and workman's comp and all that kind of shit. Making sure that you have a healthy amount of money in an account designated for your business. That you can document all of the withdrawals and deposits and people paying you and all that stuff documented, so when you do your taxes, everything's lined up and straight and somebody can get you money back. Take it to a fucking agent, obviously, but they could get your money back. There's a lot you can do with tax returns. If you're properly taking care of your shit, you've got an account just for that business with a healthy amount of money other than what's coming and going. If you're making $3,000 a month, you're paying $3,000 a month for income of employees and parts and labor and shit, then you better have 4,000 or 5,000 stocked up in a bank account somewhere for when you can't afford to keep doing that. You have to get cheaper labor, faster, more expensive on the jobs, or whatever the things that you go through with, tweaking your business around. Damn, I sound a lot as fuck. Anyway, man, whoever fucking, if anyone ever sees this shit, right on. But and just keep continuing to try and present love to the world. It's hard, man. Promise that shit. Shit don't get no easier, man. It hurts every time. much love.